some good light there tonight, shall? It's called YouTuber light. Last video was my 3-minute power test video, critical power test. So I'm going to be doing 3, 5 and 12 minutes. So we're kicking off the series, the hill climbing series. What do we call it? Like every year we do this thing where we do the British hill climb series, something that doesn't, like, it's pretty iconic, right? It happens in the UK, it doesn't happen in very many places around the world. But yeah, we have a good few weeks of racing, smashing up hills. So if you're into that, then you're in the right place. Your best level, try to achieve your best level. And for me, it's obviously trying to win, and obviously trying to become British champion again. You know, starting at one place and getting to another. So like with the 3-minute test, being that was such a good starting point already, then it's going to be really fun seeing where that goes. And I'd really encourage you to get involved as well. So even if you're not part of, you know, this sort of thing, even if you're not from the UK, like, give these critical power tests a go if they fit in with what you're doing. You know, because I'm fighting for the top spot. I'm fighting for first place. I'm fighting for championships. And doing the things that, you know, required of me to get to that shape are utmost importance. And it's also very important that I share those with you, so that, you know, you can take bits of what I do and try to implement in your own way, or, you know, maybe just actually don't take anything I do and don't implement it at all. Kicking things off tonight with some good food. We've got some fried potatoes on the go that are a few days old, so cooking those, using them up. Got a lot of vegetables we're using up, and some fish cakes. So that's our square meal this evening, and a bit of chocolate for dessert. We're still that far out from hill climbs that I can get away with just a little bit of what I fancy before. You're not going to share? How dare you? It's been quite warm again, so it's kind of difficult to sleep with the heat. So we've got a fan on the go here. Fan's just rotating around me. I am wearing shorts, by the way, if you think I'm sitting here and wearing nothing. I don't know why, I always feel like my channel comes across differently to other YouTube channels that I found around cycling, especially vlog-based channels. Like, I sometimes find that mine are like a little bit like too in-depth sometimes, and too sort of personal, and maybe it's like an overshare sometimes when I talk about, like, this is the food I'm eating, this is how much sleep I get, this is what training I'm doing, this is like my hydration. Like, sometimes I think it's an overshare, but then I also know that there's like very, like, you know, dedicated people out there who are watching this right now who, you know, find a lot of value in that, and I try to find a balance between the two. But most of YouTube channels I follow are very much like that. Like, they're very like, you know, I'm going to show you what I do every day, and this is like, you know, this is how I, you know, achieve this, and so it kind of rubs off on me, I suppose. But I also think that it's something that I would watch. Like, I would watch my own YouTube channel. So is that sad? I know what I've said, so why am I watching the video? Good morning, everybody. So for breakfast today, we're kicking things off with 2 pancakes of the protein kind. They've got about 20 grams of protein in them. I'm going to make them a staple of my daily routine from now on for the foreseeable, because it makes it a lot easier for me to get in the protein and a nice hit of carbohydrate as well, without sort of taking a like whey protein shake and stuff. So it's the only way I can actually take the powder without feeling like a bit sick, because I'm not a fan of drinking protein powder. So we've got that. We're also going to have some cereal this morning, a bowl of cereal. So all in all, there's probably going to be like a big whack of carbohydrates this morning because of my 5-minute power test today, in a couple of hours time. So a good rule of thumb is, like, depending on how long you've got until your ride, so for me it's going to be about 3 hours, you want to hit like 3 grams per kilogram of carbohydrate. If it's 3 hours away, if it's 2 hours away, 2 grams per kilogram. So I'm gonna like eat this now, and then I'm probably gonna have some fresh fruit, a banana, and some other bits and bobs to try and top that up, while I have some time to sit and contemplate this 5-minute effort. Whew. Well, I'm glad I went out early because it's gonna get hot again today. But what a spectacular effort that was. I have well and truly shocked myself once again, and long-time followers will know that that happens on a frequent basis. Like, you will never get tired of surprising yourself. Doesn't matter how many times you've pushed yourself, you've trained. Like, yeah, it's really surprising. So let's talk you through the effort. The 5-minute critical power test is kind of a little bit different to the 3-minute one. I have had some questions. I posted on Instagram the result of my 3-minute test, and I had 1 or 2 questions that asked, like, why am I doing it over a standard FTP test? And I think I've mentioned before, but it really kind of depends, like, what I'm training for and the time of the season. So with time trials, like 10 or 25 mile time trials, the standard FTP test, if you will, you know, the 20-minute effort, I'll tend to do that and then take FTP number from that, because it's kind of more event specific in a way, and it also kills 2 birds in 1 stone. So not only do you get a result number from it, but you also get like practice at doing the effort. So where critical power comes in is, like, you basically want to do the effort as hard as you can. So the 3-minute one, you know, I spoke about that. The 5-minute one today, again, it's a maximal effort. It's what you can sustain for that 5 minutes, what I also call like capacity, like maximum capacity. But it's different in the sense that you somewhat have to pace it a little bit more. Like, I still recommend starting hard like I did. Like, I was in, you know, close to 500 watts for the first minute. But, you know, in the back of your head, you're always like, you know, I know I'm going for 2 extra minutes. So it's not like you can set off at like the 480 that you did it for the 3-minute effort and then just sort of die off, because to a certain extent, you do want to die off, but you don't want to like completely like, you know, pull the pin and be doing 100 watts less. It's not a failed test by any means, but in terms of like trying to get a number that you know you can work with, you know, you don't want to blow up spectacularly. So I got to the last minute of this 5-minute and I was I was only just about able to get out the saddle. I was like, you know, that much sort of far gone into the effort. You know what that feels like. You know, you get to that point and you're like, you know, the effort should have ended at 4 minutes, you know. You don't really want to be getting out the saddle in the last minute and like, you know that, the clock should stop now. You know, you're waiting for that 5 minutes to finish. So I was definitely glad it was over. Really surprised by the result of 451, which is not a whole heap away from like my best ever. And it's not surprising, really. I mean, when you're like really consistent with your training throughout the year, I know I've had a couple of blips, but that goes to show, I'm still somewhat consistent. When you've got the depth behind you, when you've been training for a number of months, and a lot of the time, you don't have to be specific with your training for a long time. You just need to tighten things up for like the last 6, 8, 12 weeks before competition, and then that's where you see like real improvements. Yeah, the critical power, I've kind of like skipped what I was actually going to try and say. The testing is quite relevant for hill climbs because not only does it give me a chance to test like 3, 5 and 12 minute power, but like that's where most of the hill climbs sort of fall. So not only does it give me like event specific pacing practice, but it also gives me that testing over that duration, and it also gives me a chance to collect from 3 data points. So it gives you like a bit of I suppose a broader view of where you're actually at. Now, I fully appreciate that like most of us are probably, without knowing it, like stronger at the 12 minute than anything else. I have a feeling though that I'm not going to perform as well in the 12 minute as I have in the 3 and 5. Like I've been pleasantly surprised by the 3 and 5, but the 12 minute one, I will have to see. I'll bring that video out in a couple of days when I've obviously done that effort. But we'll have to see how that one goes. But I think there's going to be a significant drop off there. The 3 and 5 is not massive. It's like 30 watts, 20, 30 watts. Which, like I said, I'm delighted with. So let's see where we go from here. It's like part of the process and everything. So well chuffed with that. Let's get that recovery going and let's get ready for that 12 minute effort. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.